Broadcasting from our subterranean studios in beautiful Paradise Valley, Pennsylvania, it's Business and Brain Tumor Talk, a unique show with topics to educate, inspire, and implement. Without further ado, here's your host, Rick Franzo.
Thank you, Amanda, and welcome to Business and Brain Tumor Talk. This is an absolute treat for me today because I get to have a conversation with the amazing Karisma Page, CEO, head coach, whatever she wants to call herself. It's all valid, of Erin Resilience. And this is going to be totally upbeat and just so much fun. Karisma, we were talking for like 10 minutes and we could have done the whole show just on that. So Karisma, welcome.
Well, thank you, Rick, so much for having me. I was telling you, I feel so special. Oh my God. I'm just honored to just be here on your platform. Everything that you are doing, some future stuff is just so amazing. And I just want to be a part of it. That's all.
Well, thank you. But this show, even though, and talking about me is, as everybody knows, my favorite subject, but this is about you. So we're going to talk a lot about what you're doing, how you're helping entrepreneurs, some of the strategies that you'd like to pass on to people that are thinking about starting their own business, and the journey to independence and entrepreneurship, and just the way that I describe it, just pure joy. I get up in the morning and I'm so grateful and happy that I get to do what I do and have that opportunity. So let's just start where we're going to start. How did you get into coaching, and how did you become the amazing entrepreneur that you and your husband Randy are?
So, well, great question. Everyone has their journey, right? And so I'm starting to tell my story a little bit more because I was a little like shy to share, how I got started, the bumps, the bruises, like all the stuff that we want to kind of keep secret, but I realized that in sharing my story, and when people do share this story, it resonates with someone and they're able to move a little bit further when they know that someone else has gone through those, trials and tribulations. And so that was the first thing that when I realized that, I said, you know what, I have to put, my story out there and, help as many people as I can, because if I can do it, you can do it. But in the beginning, I wasn't really like, business minded or any of those things. I just felt like I knew I had a gift and I had an idea, right? But for me, it was the resources, like we were talking about earlier. How do I do this? How do I do that? I don't have the people. I don't know who to contact. I don't know where to go when I, want to start something. But it's all these things that's going on in my head. So what is it that I want to start? What am I gifted at? What did God gift me, to serve people, And so, after speaking to a lot of people or just hearing what other people are telling me, and the one thing that stuck out to me was, you're such a great listener. You're such a great listener. And I tell my clients all the time and people who I, network with, that listen to what others are saying. Trusted people, not those other folks, because they could go somewhere, but they could go somewhere. But listen to what other people are saying, are telling you. When you don't believe it for yourself, because in the beginning I did not. And so I'm like, okay, people are saying I'm a really good listener, a comforter. I give great advice, all these things. Okay, so that's a start. So let me start there. So that's how I got into the, coaching space, and so, but Randy, my husband, he created like the business foundation. So in my journey, we had, we were in a franchise. So we had a couple tax offices and I had to throw myself in, or he threw me in, either or. But
Right.
It was the best experience of my life because I was able to perfect, the gift, right? And being a leader. And so I had to lead a team at this point, And so how do you do that? Right. So you figure it out as you go. And throughout the years, I just got better and better and better. just in that space, just learning how, learning business and, how to manage operations and, your finances and, how to get people to persuade people to, do what you want them to do to better the business and better the organization. How do you do that? So I learned all of that throughout the years of this tax office, this tax business. And then in 2019, I said, okay, well, the tax office is standing on its own now. Let me get serious about what those folks were telling me about myself. Now I have the confidence. Now I'm a better leader. Now, I'm able to guide and do all the things that, I was afraid to do, that I felt like I couldn't do in the beginning. And so I got certified, with the John Maxwell leadership team. I wrote a book. I started a network, or a women's group originally. It was on meetup.com. And that was a little bit more practice. I had Zoom virtual meetings and in-person meetings. And that's how it got started for me. And then, I found like, okay, this is the space. I
Start to
like
click,
this. I
right?
can Right. I like, that the joy you was talking about earlier. I can wake up and feel happy and joyful of something that I'm doing. And that's how it got started. And so now I'm here and there's no turning back. I'm telling you.
There's no, now she's here. Here's charisma, right? And so, uh, wonderful story, great evolution of how everything happened. Where is your concentration for helping people? I just want everybody to really just kind of rewind a little bit on some things that Charisma said. She
Yeah.
didn't say manage people. She said lead people. And that wasn't even a hesitation. Manage the office, right? And lead
Mhm.
people, because we lead people and we manage things, right?
Yes.
So right here is an example of a true leader who lives and breathes that every day, because usually it's I had to manage the people. You're not managing people. People are not things, right? So that's really the biggest takeaway that I've had so far, and I just want to make sure that the listeners and the people viewing this really wrap their arms around that. That's huge. So when when you started to do your coaching, right,
Mhm.
is it different from where you are now? How did that all evolve? Right, there's life coaching that's a part of it, there's business coaching, it's new entrepreneurs.
Yes. So great question. I actually started just as a life coach because I felt like, it's so hard for people to break through, with the fear, the lack of confidence, low self esteem, all the things that I had, and I just wanted to be that tool for people to be able to tap into me to ask questions. How did you, how were you able to break through from any limiting beliefs that you have? And so that's how I got started. And then that's why when I started doing like the, in-person events and not, they weren't even events, they were like just meetups, for 30
Sure.
minutes, 40 minutes, we'll get together and we'll talk, and I have little exercises, things like that, tapping into self, because we forget to um you know we forget to learn who we are and focus on us as a person, an individual, and really what we desire. And not even that, just what we're gifted with. And I love that word because we all have a gift, we all have a talent, right? It's just the external world, the distractions, everything around us makes us forget to really be present, focus, and hone in on, what we were destined to do. And so that's why I wanted to, okay, I'm just going to do life coaching just to get people out of the rut, help them find themselves first
Sure.
before they do anything else, because that's the most important part. Because you can get into everything, something, and then how successful are you going to be if you can't really, identify what your stuff is, right? What your baggage is, what's holding you back. And so that's originally how I got started. And how now what I do is I do I'm a business coach now. I still do life and business. I feel like it goes hand in hand, but I specialize in business startups because again, I'm passionate about the starting process. The part where, where am I going to get my resources? I don't have resources. Actually, I don't know. I don't have the money. I don't have the people. My family won't even help me, all those things. How do you get over that part? Right. So that's where I come into place. And I just wanted to have a one-stop shop for everyone and say, here, this is a place for you where we can start with self-development, right? We can do some, you need marketing help, you need business funding, you need, you know, uh, business solutions, some tools, strategies on how to create a system to build your business. It's all in one place. So there's no more excuses.
No more excuses. I love that because it's all right there. But the thing that really is the biggest holdback isn't the talent or the passion, right? But it's that limiting beliefs that you mentioned. So they have some sort of imposter syndrome. This isn't for me. And why do they think that? Maybe because they don't have the money to start it, or they don't think that they do. They're not supported by the people that they really count on the most to be supportive, right? Because it's kind of backwards. They would like to support, but they don't believe in the vision, the mission,
Right.
kind of the whole package of what they're trying to do. So they're not buying in because it's almost like a protection. I understand what you want to do, Rick, but you know what? It just doesn't seem good for you.
Yeah.
Maybe because we're kind of programmed. You go to school, you go to college, or you go into one of the trades. You work, you retire. They give you a gift certificate. Maybe $5 gift certificate to Mickey D's for a Happy Meal. Go and you bird watch, and then you transition to comfort and peace,
That's it.
and that's it. And there's so much more, and people would like to do that. Entrepreneurship, small businesses are the backbone of the United States of America. It just
That's
is.
right.
Right? How many businesses fail every year? They start and they fail. They're here, and all of a sudden they vaporize. They're gone. And so,
That's right.
what you do is very important for the support and really the accountability. If they say they want it and they name it, then you're going to help them claim it if they want it, right? But you said something else that was really important: is you had to, in a lot of ways, you had to get roughed up, right? You had to
Yeah.
go and get knocked around. And if you're not willing to take the hits, then entrepreneurship is not for you. I mean,
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
that's it. You've got to have thick skin, right? You can't have a glass jaw. You've got to get beat up. I've been beat
That's
up.
right.
I've been beat up. I've had my ass kicked, right?
Yes.
Many
Yes.
times. And so,
Yes.
and I know that it's not easy for you as well. It's really, it's kind of tumultuous. And so if you're not willing to, kind of embrace the pain of growth, there's really no path for you.
That's right. And I talk about failure all the time. It's really like how I got started when, I started speaking to, crowds. And the one presentation that, I just was most passionate about was failing forward. And it's a book from John Maxwell.
Mm-hmm.
Really like the first book that I had my hands on that resonated with me or kind of changed the trajectory of, my life and just moving forward. Because again, I'm coming from a space of, low self-esteem, not wasn't as confident as I am today, and all the things that I kind of put myself into or, talk myself out of too. And so,
Yeah,
but
sure.
yeah, when I got a hold of that book, Failing Forward, I was just like, oh my goodness, a game changer. It's just your perception of how you look at these words, right? How you look at life, and everything that you do. We can rewrite the script. You can do that, just along the lines of what you were saying, Rick. Like, we were programmed, to school and college, and get a degree and work this 9 to 5, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're in a position where you don't want to be in, and you feel like you want to be more in that organization, in that company, then you should be more, because that's what God gifted in you, to be more, and that's where I come into play. Don't limit yourself because we have all this baggage, or somebody, 10 years, 15 years ago said that we couldn't do something, or we weren't smart enough, or we're not able enough to do whatever it is for you. That is a lie. Okay. So don't be afraid to fail forward. Okay, I don't care what anyone says. But again, along those lines, we were programmed that if we fail, it's this horrible negative thing.
Right. Yeah.
Since
Yeah.
grade school, it's this
Yeah.
negative thing. You shouldn't fail. And with my kids, I have 3 girls, and my oldest is 21 and 17 and 11. And I tell them, listen, when you go out to school, I want you to fail at something, because I don't want that word to be a word where they cringe, when they hear it, because they're going to hear it a lot. So whether they're going into entrepreneurship, or, in corporate America, they're going to hear it. And when they hear it, they're going to say, okay, I know what that word means. But it's nothing negative. It's a positive word, actually. Okay. And it makes me do better. It
And
makes me
that's
do
so
better.
that's powerful. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
So it's
and they're
painful.
not, yeah, they're not going to be afraid of it. They're going to actually
No.
embrace it because they're going to see the opportunities.
I love when I fail, Rick. Give me
Yeah.
some failure right now.
You know what? I don't have any in my back pocket for you today. I wasn't. I'm unprepared to give you failure, and
Listen,
I
because
apologize
there's
for that.
growth. There's growth in your failure, right? How are
There
you going
is.
to grow if you don't fail? So it's just thinking about it differently, and they fail, and I say, okay, well, what are you going to do better next time? Right? That part, because that's the missing part. What are you going to do better next time? I'm going to, do my homework at an earlier time. I'm going to, study more, whatever the case may be. But
Sure.
they know that, okay, so I felt I have to do. So it's this, and then it's that, right? It's not just, oh, I failed, let me go under the rock and hide somewhere, because just a year or two ago, or whatever, somebody said something to me that hurt my feelings, and so I'm not going to pursue anything further, because that can trigger a whole lot of things, and then you go down this spiral, down this,
The rabbit hole, yeah,
yes,
for sure.
into who knows what, depression for some people. It just gets dark. And so, but when you think about it, like, this is something positive, this is where I grow, I need it, because if we don't fail, um just with doing the things that we want to do, taking risk and things like that, we're going to fail by default. It's going to happen regardless, ready or not. Okay.
It's coming. Not here it comes. It's coming, right? And so, but I think that one of the things that I always think is what sets us all apart, right? And for me, not by choice, it just happened, and it's either I did it or I didn't. But I'm able to walk in the light and walk in the dark
Yeah.
the same way. And I think that when there's failure, I think that we are just as comfortable in the darkness than we are in the light. And that's where I get a lot of strength from, is knowing that I can do whatever it is I want. It's going to be it could be hard. It may take me longer, but if I want it, it's there for me. And I wrote a book, and I want to talk about your book because you're a published author, and
Yeah.
this one is, this is really great. So if you have kids, and even if you don't, this is going to be a fantastic read. Talk about your book if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, so it's a children's book. It's called I Can Do It, Mom. And actually, another one of the limiting beliefs that I had was, having my children in my professional space. It's gonna damage me. And I don't know where I got that from. It's probably something I need to work out. Maybe I'll talk to you about a little bit, Rick. But this was like years ago. And, I realized, and actually John Hewitt, when I was in the franchise, um, he would have his children, his youngest son, around all the time in a professional setting. And I thought it was something that you should not do, have your children around, and not realizing that everyone has children. Well, the majority of people have children.
A
you
lot
know,
of people have children. Yeah.
I'm a mom, right? And so, yeah, I have children. There's nothing that's odd about it, right? And so when I wrote the book, I didn't want to shy away. I think this was my opportunity to have my kid involved. And not only have my kid involved, but also show her at a young age that anything is possible. And it helps her build confidence as well along the way. And so it's a benefit for her as well as for me. And so she was going into kindergarten at the time. And we were writing the book, just throwing some ideas. I always wanted to write a book since I was a kid, but again, I didn't feel like I was able to do that, and all those things. But I got past that mindset. And I invited her in and we had a little meeting, her little self. She's 11 now, but and I said, I have an idea. I want to write a book. Can you help me with it? And she said, yes, yes, mommy, I can help you. And then we went running, and she picked out the color, she picked out the character, which the character is her name, Maya. And we wanted to focus on school and, building confidence in little folks, independence, self-awareness, all those things. And so she was very, very involved in it. And we published the book, and we had a hard copy in our hands. And, it's on Amazon, it's on, on Google, and it's all over the place. And first grade or second grade, if I remember correctly, she came home and she said, Mommy, everybody is calling me famous girl. Everyone knew about the book in school. Oh my goodness. Could you imagine, right, what that does to a child? Yeah. And so, I would go do some reads at the school and in her class, and I could just see her face lit up. And, it just brought so much joy to me, and just as it is for her. And I mean, just the confidence that she has today. And you met her at the event. I brought her. So I'm bringing her still along, to help her, build up more confidence and, put herself out there in the world. And so I think it's very, very important, especially, for those folks who have children, get them involved because they have bright ideas also. And it will help them in so many ways to just extend themselves beyond measures,
They were buying the book at the event, and she was signing the book for people. And when we were doing the panel, right, and she's sitting right there, like, there's pictures where Maya's there, and so very involved, very, very much there, and just great energy. And that's just superior parenting. And children, they need to be a part of what we're doing. They just do. So that was phenomenal.
Yes.
That was really great.
Yes.
Really great. How about when we could talk for another hour? Right? We're gonna have to do there's so many part twos. So one last question, right?
Yes.
So somebody's thinking about starting a business. So besides the coaching and everything else, what would it be from where your experience is that they should really know coming into it so that they have longevity as entrepreneurs? They're not a flash in the pan. How do you guide them to get to point B, or at least get on that path from A to B,
Yeah.
right? When they come to you, because you and I specialize in different things. So I don't usually, engage with newer entrepreneurs where
Yeah.
you do. So it makes it really good. So I'm curious as to what is the message that you want them to take away, and what would you like them to really know about entrepreneurship?
Yes. So there's no perfect time to start, right? You just start. Just start. If that is today, if it's at the midnight hour, just do it. And the first thing you want to do is write down some goals or do a vision board, right? So you want to manifest these things. You want to always constantly see it, whether it's a post-it, anything, just write it down. This is what I want to be. This is what I want to do. If you don't have the words, draw it out. Just draw it out, right? I draw.
Yeah.
I'm not an artist or anything by any means. I can
Stick
do
figures for me.
a figure, okay?
Yeah, stick figures. It's really sad. It's terrible. So I'm
I can
not drawing anything. I'll put magazines or something, right?
yeah,
I'll put them on, but drawing, that's going to scare people away. So we
yeah.
won't do that.
So that's the first thing you want to do before you do anything else. Make it real. And then tell somebody, hey, this is what I want to do. I want to venture out and start doing hair or makeup or go into real estate or, finance, do taxes, have my own, tax office or whatever that may be for you, whatever you're excited about, whatever those trusted folks are telling you about that they see in you. Listen now, because it is some truth in that. Then that's what you should be doing, right? But you're not in your, element. People know. You don't feel comfortable. You don't feel good. You're not as happy as that you could be. And if that is you, then you have some more soul searching, some more digging to do. Pull it out. And once you have that idea, once you feel like that is something, and it changes along the way. And I say, life and especially business is a marathon, it's not a sprint, right? It takes time. It's not microwavable by any means. You gotta go through some stuff. It takes time to get really where you want to go and be successful and have some longevity in that, but find what you can wake up to and be happy and feel like this is the joy that I need in life, and write that down first. And once you write that down first, then you set up a little business plan, you make it real, you say this is how much money I want to make, right? By the end of the year,
Yeah.
2 years, 5 years, this is the house I see me in, the car. It starts with the vision. Okay, so start there, and then everything else is just planning and organizing and executing, and a lot of discipline. Okay,
And a
but
lot
that's
of
what
lot of
you
faith.
need.
Yeah.
Yes, that's when
Yeah.
you need some
Absolutely.
coaching and all those things, right? But that's how you get started. Be serious. There's no perfect timing. You start today. If that's you, the help is there. You have it all around you. Okay. So, like I said earlier, no excuses.
No excuses. Now, if people want to get in touch with you and start their entrepreneurial journey, how do they do that?
So, I'm on Facebook, Charisma Page, PAG, last name. I think on Instagram is Charisma Page Life Coach. So you can find me there, DM me. You can call me at 272-420-0008, or you can go to my website at erinresilience.com. Yeah, and so those are the best places to find me. But social media is, uh, the number one place where usually people will find me. And then join the Business Mastery Networking group so you can stay connected, all things business, all things professional, all the tools, the resources, everything that you need is there in one place. So you have
Fantastic. one-stop
Yes.
shop.
Yes.
This was fantastic. I'm going to say part two has to happen. Randy has to be here, and we have so much more to talk about. We only just really scratched the surface. I want
I
to thank you so much for being here, Karisma.
thank you.
Thank you. And you know, a mutual friend, she's been on this show, Chantel. So Chantel and
Yes,
Brian Davis, they were my first guests
I
on.
love her.
So great. And so she connected us, and we didn't really, you know, she gave the introduction. We didn't connect for like months,
Oh
right?
my
You
goodness.
doing your
It was
thing, I'm
wow.
doing my thing. Then finally we met, and it was just like there it was.
Yes, 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 yes. There's no
So
getting
great.
rid of me, Rick.
I
No
know.
way.
I know. Usually that's a good thing. When I say there's no getting rid of me, people are like, oh, I didn't really bank on that, but whatever. We'll figure it out. Thank you so much, Karisma. I want to thank you for being here. This has been Business and Brain Tumor Talk, and I want everybody to have a great day and really just wait for part two because it's coming. I promise. Definitely. Have a great one and stay gold. Take care.